Hey everybody, Joe with Joyful Camping here, and today we are working on this 2023 Rove Lite 14BH, which is a bunkhouse model of the Rove Lite. And one thing that's always bothered me with this one is that you have to walk around to the backside of the trailer to check your battery voltage. You have to put your head around the back and push a button and kind of watch this bar go up. And today's video is going over a little modification where all you have to do is sit at your dinette, reach your hand up, push a button, and you can see what your voltage is right there. So if you like what you're seeing on the channel today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into making this little modification. Alright, here we are on the inside, and this is what I was referencing where you would normally have the dinette table right here. And so what I've got is this space that's completely open where I can just reach up, push a button, see what my voltage is for my batteries, and just keep working. Now, normally you'd have to kind of swing out from the dinette table, kind of shimmy your way out, and then head over there to the other side to reach around and push that button. So utilizing this space and a standard blank outlet cover accomplishes the job of being able to put something here. Now, I've got just a standard voltmeter, nothing fancy, and then a small push button switch that is just a simple, you push it in, it allows the connection to be made, and then you let go and it's off. There are other buttons that you can push in, it stays with the circuit being completed, and then you have to push it again to turn it off. This one is just super simple, one end, reach up, push a button, look up, you're done. And all I did here was I took a drill, drilled out the four corners of where that voltmeter goes in, and then cut between the four holes, and then drilled another hole here for being able to put the push button in. Now on the back side, I connected the button and the voltmeter. So you can see here that I soldered this up and put some heat shrink on it, and I did the red to red. One thing to note about this, some switches may have different colors than red and black. I thought that this was very interesting because, especially with this switch, you don't want to connect the negative and positive, and generally speaking, red will go to positive, black will go to negative. So one thing to note with this is that I will be connecting the black wire from the switch to the positive because it's going to be completing the circuit through to the red up to the voltmeter. It's not that big of a deal because color is just the color for the outside of the wire. On this side, I do want to connect it to the negative because that way it'll allow the voltmeter to work. I don't want to connect the voltmeter directly to the power and have it running all the time because that's going to put a slight drain on it. And so that's why we have the switch. So all of that information to get to the point of actually installing and getting here. Now the AC unit here, you can pull it out if you really wanted to, but you don't really need to. I pulled the cover off so that I can be able to see back here if I need to. But I'm going to take the USB port off, and that way I can kind of see back here too. And then let's put the hole in the wall. Probably the scariest part because this thing's brand new, so let's get to that. Now, one thing to note is to make sure to disconnect your battery before we get started by pushing that in, and then also unplug from any shore power that you might be connected to. That 30 amp plug and sending voltage through might not be fun if you accidentally cut a wire. Alright, now one of the important things is aesthetically to match up to where everything else is. Now, as you can see, this is actually a bigger plate size. I could have gone with this size, but I just happened to grab this one at the hardware store, not realizing it was the larger one, and oh well, it works. So, being that I've already got the meter and the button already in here, it makes it kind of hard to place it up here to get it in the right spot. So I grabbed myself an extra one that I had, and what I'm going to do here is just line up to where this should be, and I want to keep everything as close to being aesthetically in the right spot as possible. So I'm actually going to slide that up a little bit. That looks to be the right place. So now I'm going to make a couple marks through this plate onto the wall. And hopefully that works. There we go, yep. I've got 2 marks. And that is going to line up to where that would be normally. I probably should have done that before I installed this, but oh well. Now the next part to that is, well, I've got to line this up on those 2 marks, and then this is a low voltage 1 gang, and so you use this to then mark 4 holes for where you're going to make the cutout. So I've put the smaller holes to the same spot where those screws would go, so now I know exactly where this is supposed to be sitting on the wall, and I make these 4 little marks. There we go. And then at this point, I just connect the dots. Okay, that was pretty straightforward. And so now I've got the spacing. So I cut this out, and then this edge right here will be able to slide into that space. And you could use any variety of knives. I'm not exactly sure what's behind here, and so I just need to be super careful with how deep this blade is going in here so that I don't cut anything. I already know there's going to be a variety of wires back here, so just be super careful while you're making this cut. Alright, there we go. Broke off on the inside at the top a little bit, but it's alright. It's like a fiber that's running through there. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that was a little bit harder. And yep, sure enough, there's a bunch of cables right here, and so you've got power 110 and you got some 12 volt along with cable TV lines, so that's all running through right there. Now we'll be able to take this guy, and I can see that pops in right there. So now we're going to get to one step before this, before I put that in all the way anyway, and show you that the reason you use this low voltage, etc., is these wings will come out like this when you put the screws in and pull against the wall here. So what that does is it cinches this down into the wall as this gets closer, and it pinches it in place. So that way you've got a secure point to be able to mount this plate to. Just like that. Alright, at this point we are a little bit closer so that you can kind of see exactly what we're dealing with here. Where I've got those red and black lines coming to these lines over here. It's a little bit tight of space, so I'm going to give it a little bit of extra working room on these wires when I tie everything else in. But we're going to just get straight into it here and just give this a little snip. I'm actually going to cut it off as far this way as possible. I'll try to give myself as much working room as possible. And just like that, we are off to the races. So we're going to strip these wires back a little bit right here. And then, oh, interesting, we got a little more working room after I snip those off. So either way, we're going to give ourselves a little more working room here and go from there for being able to solder some stuff up. So I'm going to cut back into after those are stripped back. Alright, now that we've got these wires all stripped back here, I'm going to use these really cool soldering joints where it's got, oh, come on, play nice. These wires are being tricky. Alright, this really cool soldering piece here that it slips over, it has a heat shrink, weather seal, and solder all in one. I'll see if I can find and put in the description down below a link for them, because I've used them for a bit now and they are really slick. super convenient to not have to pull out the soldering iron for this stuff. So, come on. And, you know, of course, wires being wires, they don't want to play nice, especially when I'm having to connect multiples of them. And that, let's see if I can twist this one-handed. Ooh, that was pretty slick right there. Alright, so this slides in. And then we've got one more wire that I just dropped. There we go. Let's see if I can get this guy in also. It's the one that's key to the whole thing here. Goes to the USB, well, not key to the whole thing, but that one goes to the USB port. There we go. And this one, so this is my negative side. So I've got the negative side of the meter here. So now I'm going to slide. Oh, that wire is coming out. No! There we go. Shoved it back in there. Let's see if I can get this wire to slide up in there. And ta-da! Winning. Okay. So I've got all the negative wires up in place. I've got my heat gun to apply some heat. And alright, there we go. We've got that all in there. What happens is that band cinches around, and at the same time there's liquid solder that comes out and makes a connection for all of the copper in there. And then there's a couple bands on each side which, when melted, create that weather seal and the heat shrink everything around it. So that way, if you've got a couple wires next to each other, like we will here with the positive side, we're not going to worry about shorting it out. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that other side and just cut ahead to it. Alright, well, I got the positive all soldered up now, and comment down below if you've noticed what I forgot to do, and I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to make this work. Now, you think you know what it is? Because this plate's got to go on, but so does this. Now I can take this stuff off the plate and do it that way, but I'm going to see if I can just slide. Ooh, maybe? Oh, look at that. Winning. Okay, well, there we go. So now, I'm just going to slide this into place. I'll move those little finger things out of the way. That's going to pop back there. And you can see we are now ready for that. So I'm going to screw these down and, oh, sorry about that. One thing that I do need to make sure of is that these right here are going to swing up just like that. And I got to make sure that there's no cables getting caught between that finger and the wall, because this is going to get screwed in right here. I'm going to use a power tool here. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, that's meant for drywall. It's got a little bit of movement to it still. I can feel it there. I can see it's all the way in here. Well, that was less than ideal. And down here, yeah, there's definitely no cables there. There we go. Felt it tighten up. That one's pretty snug. What's up with this one? Not being all the way down. That's weird. Just back it off a little bit. Yeah, interesting. Well, either way, that's a push item, so no biggie there. And now that that's in place, we're just going to take this, put it up here, and then these screws are going to go right into there. Alright, and there we have it, the final installation of the whole thing. So, moment of truth. Let's see if we blow a fuse. 3, 2, 1. Power is on to the entire trailer. Just heard a beep in the background there for the controller, and if I push the button, hey, look at that, 12.6 volts for the trailer, which is perfect. That's exactly what I needed to find out. And then I let go of the button, and it's off. So, awesome. Takes a second to kick in, and there we go. So, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Well, all right, there we have it. And as you can see, all I have to do is reach up, push the button while I'm sitting here, and I don't have to make my way around the other side. Totally worth it to be able to add this here so that I can make sure I have enough power throughout the day for wherever I'm doing, and also to make sure I have enough power getting into the evening to be able to run all the lights, etc., and be good. So make sure to hit that like button and pitch a tent on that subscribe button so you can catch us for all of our upcoming adventures and fun tips, tricks, etc. that we got going on with this 2023 Rove Lite. So we'll catch you later. See ya.